Erling Haaland and Barcelona, a fairy tale or reality? N'Golo Kanté returns to the English Premier League. A new rising star in Serie A Manchester United intercepts a Real Madrid player. And how did they actually manage to do it? We are talking about this and much more today. This is a hot selection of the most interesting football news. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and like this video to get more news about our favorite game. Your support is very important to us. Let's get started. Erling Haaland no longer wants to play for Real Madrid. Despite various hints from his agent, the player himself no longer considers this club as a potential continuation of his career. The reason for this is Mbappe's transfer. According to 442, the striker now prefers Barcelona. Allegedly, his departure from Manchester City is still relevant. It's just that the vectors have changed. A little background. Throughout Haaland's time with the Citizens, he has been constantly linked to other clubs, and this is done by people close to him. For example, his father openly stated that Manchester City is only part of his son's journey, and the Norwegian's agent, Ella Pimento, has already given 723 hints that Haaland wouldn't mind trying himself at Real Madrid. Will Erling sign a contract with Real Madrid? You should ask Real itself about that, not me. Real's interest. The decision is up to Erling. He is the master of his fate. He will always do what is in his best interest and in the interest of Manchester City. When they are all ready for changes, such a transition may happen. And this is just a small part of what Pimento says about Real Madrid. But now the transfer to this club is becoming irrelevant for obvious reasons, and Barcelona indeed looks like a worthy alternative. Firstly, a duel with Mbappe, similar to the rivalry between Messi and Ronaldo. Secondly, he faces much less competition in Barcelona if we talk about Ballon d'Or and so on, and the status of the main star will probably still be with Haaland, despite the presence of Yamal and all the others in the team. And who occupies this place at Real Madrid? Well, that's something to think about, agree? By the way, an interesting question. Who do you think is the main star in the Royal Club now? Write in the comments. It's very interesting to see which player you prefer. And probably this leads to the third reason why Haaland should choose Barcelona if he wants to achieve something more than just being a good striker. All the main battles are now in La Liga. It is there that the main stars of world football are concentrated. Of course, there are many in the Premier League as well, but if we talk about the brightest personalities, they are all in Spain, specifically, of course, at Real Madrid. And they need to be defeated on their field, and in this case, in their league. New interesting details have emerged about Leny Yoro's transfer to Manchester United. As you may already know, or if you don't, the Frenchman has become a player for the Red Devils. The transfer fee amounted to 62 million, of which 50 million is the transfer cost itself, and the remaining part is bonuses. Until the last moment, the main contender for the player was Real Madrid. They were almost certain that Yoro would join them. But at the very last moment, the transfer fell through and the player moved to MU. So, according to Marca, Lille threatened their player, insisting that he must choose MU, or he would no longer play on the field. And as usual, it's all about the price. The Red Devils offered more than Real Madrid. Therefore, selling him to this team was more profitable for Lille, considering that they couldn't keep Yoro anyway. That's the story. Whether to believe it or not is up to you. However, in defense of Manchester United, it should be noted that all this information comes from Marca, the most pro-Real Madrid publication on the planet. And they are more inclined to somehow justify the Royal Club for missed opportunities. Undoubtedly, now a transfer to Real Madrid looks much more interesting than to MU. But who knows what conditions the Red Devils might have promised Yoro. For example, a higher salary or an immediate stable place in the starting lineup. In general, Ten Hag's team has, as they like to say in Barcelona, levers that could be activated to interest the player in the transfer. Write in the comments what you think about this. We continue talking about MU, especially since the press gives us reasons. Firstly, the Red Devils are trying to loan out Antony. The club does not count on the player in the new season and wants to send him somewhere. However, this loan must happen on the terms of the Mancunians. The club that takes him must cover the player's entire salary, which is a considerable $83,000 a week. Honestly, we don't know who needs such a player with such a salary, but who knows? We are almost sure that the Red Devils would gladly part with him, but considering that he was bought for some astronomical money, selling him profitably won't work, and a loan in this context looks more humane. Antony's transfer became one of the most failed transfers of the Red Devils, and perhaps some of you might even call it the most failed in the team's history. At that time, Ajax did not intend to part with Antony. The transfer window was closing, but the MU bosses offered almost $100 million for him, and the Amsterdam club simply couldn't refuse. At the time of purchase, the Brazilian was worth $35 million, and now even less, $25. But that's not all. Manchester United is working on the transfer of Xavi Simons, or rather on his loan. Allegedly, Erik ten Hag is personally interested in his transfer, and Rafael van der Vaart is ready to help facilitate his move to this club. Remember this player? Honestly, we doubt this is the best option for Simons right now, considering how in demand he is. But if Ten Hag and his team manage to get this player, it will definitely be a success. He won't stay at PSG, his sale is a matter of time, so if the MU bosses now promise the Sheikhs more money than anyone else, they may well help Simons decide on a new club. Moreover, as Spanish media claim, the Red Devils already have experience in such matters. AC Milan has finally put an end to the speculation and announced the transfer of Alvaro Morata from Atletico Madrid. Throughout his career, he has played for Real Madrid, Juventus, Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, having made a total of 506 appearances and scored 172 goals. He has won 2 UEFA Champions League titles, 1 UEFA Super Cup, 1 FIFA Club World Cup, 2 La Liga titles, 2 Copa del Rey titles, 1 Spanish Super Cup, 2 Serie A titles, 3 Coppa Italia titles, 2 Italian Super Cups, and 1 FA Cup. The current captain of the Spanish national team has played 80 matches for his national team, scoring 36 goals, and won the recent European Championship and the UEFA Nations League in the 2022-23 season, reads the club's statement. Morata's contract with his new team runs until 2028, with an option to extend for another season. According to the media, he will earn €5 million per year, and the transfer fee was around €13 million. Morata has already chosen his jersey number and will play with the number 7 on his back. We have talked about this transfer many times in our previous episodes, so briefly, it's a good deal from all sides. Milan needed a backup for Giroud, and Morata needed a team where he would get plenty of playtime. That's where they agreed. Atletico earned good money for an already quite experienced player and lightened their payroll. By the way, Transfermarkt has released a new ranking, the top 10 most expensive footballers by the total cost of their transfers. That is how much clubs have paid for them throughout their careers. And Morata is in this ranking. He is in 5th place. His total transfer cost is €202 million. Can you guess the top 3? Who has been the most expensive in football history? Let's test your insight, and while you share your thoughts, we move on to the next block of news. We have more to tell you. Al Ittihad has rejected West Ham's offer for N'Golo Kanté, reports The Athletic. The Sheikhs do not want to let go of their midfielder and will do everything possible to keep him. The source even names the price that the Hammers want to buy him for. €15 million. Right now, the Frenchman is valued at only $9 million on Transfermarkt, but this is one of those cases where the price does not reflect the value. We all saw how well Kanté performed at the European Championship, and it's completely understandable why West Ham is looking to bring him back to the Premier League. It's also important to mention that during the tournament, the player himself hinted that he wants to play in European leagues again. No, he hasn't given up on European football. Playing in Saudi Arabia is a new experience for me, but I enjoy returning to the French national team at this level. However, a transfer elsewhere is not something I'm currently thinking about, said the midfielder at the time. Seeing N'Golo back in the Premier League would be very interesting, and West Ham is not a bad option considering the circumstances. After all, Kanté probably can't carry a big club in this league anymore. Or rather, he could, but not as the sole and irreplaceable option. But the role of a backup would hardly suit the Frenchman, while at West Ham he would be a starting player. But honestly, we highly doubt that he will be brought back to Europe. He has a great contract with Al Ittihad, and his age, he will be 34 soon. He could still play a season in the Premier League, but beyond that, the Saudi Pro League seems more appealing. They have their own rules and customs, and in this sense, the league looks much more attractive for Kanté than the English one. But as we know, football can surprise us, so we'll see. And be sure to watch our previous video. It has just appeared before your eyes. That's all for today. See you tomorrow. Good luck to everyone. Goodbye.